Oh, the audio. See if it can come back. All right. There we go. All right.
That was all fucked.
You want to just try it again?
Yeah, we'll
no worries.
okay. So welcome back to Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs here after a 3-week layoff from UFC 223 or to UFC 223, and I'm here with my boy Gib breaking down UFC 223, and fucking a lot has happened so far already. Today, Connor nearly fucking up everything on UFC 223, looking for Khabib smashing windows, breaking glass, and it cut Pettis. Apparently, almost hit Rose Namajunas, so she was super pissed. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Artem Lobov gets kicked off the card, so this serious fight is canceled. I heard they're looking for a replacement though, because a lot of guys are ready to step in to fight him. Actually,
it's hard to replace the legend Lobov.
Yeah, but I think Lobov's actually gonna get cut from the UFC now.
It seems like it.
I thought that was like his last fight before he would get cut, or like to see if he would get cut or not, and he was going to try and save his career and whatnot, and boom, after what happened, I think he's cut now from the UFC.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, let's start on UFC 223, man. Let's get this going. We got Zabit Magomedsharipov against Kyle Bochniak, and Bochniak isn't that bad, man. Like a lot of people are trashing him for his style, but like he has that weasel style that like he plays on the outside a lot, doesn't engage in much, and he just like slowly wins rounds. Like it's stupid, but it's effective at most, you know. And you got my boy's a beat over here, literally wrecking everybody he's facing. I have no idea why he's the curtain jerker of this fight, but he after what he did to Mike Santiago and then what he did to Shaman Marias, I'm thinking this is gonna be another great showing, man. I think Zabit has it all figured out, and I think he fucking puts on a showing and just literally runs through Kyle Bochniak. If doesn't knock him out, he'll strangle him. He's too smart to let Bochniak play on the outside like he usually does. I think he engages and like closes the distance and finishes him here. How about you, Gib?
I was really impressed by Kyle Bochniak's in his last fight with Baron Davis, I believe. He seems to close the distance immediately and be a problem. He likes to hunt down fighters. He's constantly managing his strikes while also kind of plotting fighters to the fence. And he always seems to mix up the action with a lot of good kicks. He uses a lot of high side kicks. The problem is the Beat just uses more of them. The guy can do pretty much any kick. I've seen him jump off the cage, throw kicks. So that's pretty deadly. It's normally easy for him to take down fighters like this, like Kyle Boch, guys who constantly put pressure forward. He'll just walk him into kicks, walk him into any sort of single strike that Zabit throws. He's very good, whether it's staying cool, even missing some of his fancy moves, but he seamlessly goes into punches sometimes. Zabit's got like the entire package if you're really looking for it. He's got great kicks. He can finish submission or striking. I think obviously this is Zabit's kind of fight, it looks good. But a guy like Crash can really pull you into the swamp and make things difficult. So I think this is a good test to see if Zabit can fight someone like this, even though he has already. I thought Mike Santiago was a pretty good fighter too for his fight. So I'm going to beat Magomedov here, but Kyle Boch is a pretty close favorite, man.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think Bochniak is fucking. He like Zabit's just on. He's good, but Zabit's just on another level.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Zabit's just on another level. So the 700 favorite is warranted, man. I think so. Next up, we got Devin Clark taking on Mike Rodriguez. Devin Clark coming off that finish from Jan Blachowicz where he choked him out, standing rear naked choke. Very weird positioning for that chokehold. No hooks in or anything, but he got the finish there. Before that, fighting Jay Collier, I believe, and Stansbury and Andrew Nicholson already got knocked out. This guy doesn't have a very high IQ.
No, that Nicholson fight, I thought he was doing really well in.
Yeah, but and then he gets dropped right at the end. I don't know, man. Fucking, if he knows to wrestle Mike Rodriguez here, who I've seen on the local scene have a little bit of trouble with wrestling or his takedown defense, I think, or on the regional scene at least, I think Devin Clark can get the job done. But if Mike Rodriguez establishes his range and he's usually super athletic and everything, and Devin Clark's kind of chinny, man. Fucking Mike Rodriguez can land a big strike like he did on the Contender Series with that flying knee and just put him out. So I'm actually siding with Mike Rodriguez here. Not enough for a bet, but definitely siding with him in this fight. I think he gets the job done. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I like Michael Rodriguez's last knockout, and he really timed that one. His opponent was kind of faking a shot there. He kind of lowered his head, and I mean Michael jumped right into the knee, clipped him fast. And the guys on the Contender Series are obviously trying to get on the UFC, so they're throwing bombs and they're they're really fighting for survival. Guys who have already made it are kind of they know that they kind of have a few strikes, and Devin's obviously got that one strike on him, possibly two off the Nicholson fight as well. But he did beat Jake Collier before the Jan Blachowicz fight. He does make a few mistakes here and there. He's a wrestler, just like Mike Rodriguez is as well. Again, these guys are pretty heavy, so it can go either way. I like Michael Rodriguez. I think he takes it, but I mean, I don't think you should count Devin Clark out too much because he's had more fights in the higher up scene than Mike Rodriguez, and he's kind of been through the ringer a little. So you never know; he might be able to put on a bit of a seniority on Mike Rodriguez, but we'll see what happens. They're both around the same fights as well, same age, so we'll see if the UFC experience comes in to play for Devin Clark. I got Rodriguez, though.
Yep. Next up, we got Beck Rawlings taking on Ashley Evans Smith. And Evans Smith's last fight, she got armbarred by Sarah Moras, who just does that to everybody. She pretty much faces if she gets lucky. She gets in that armbar. She just pulls it off. She lost to Ketlin Vieira, who's a top bantamweight in the division. And she lost to Raquel Pennington, who's fighting for the title. So and then she beat Maciado and Marion Renault. I like Ashley Evans Smith. She beat Fallon Fox before.
Yeah.
She's fucking. she's a 4th-time, I believe, All-American or something in collegiate wrestling. I'm not sure from what college, but she's a 4th-time All-American. Very good wrestler. Taking on Beck Rawlings here, and Beck just came out of that fight against Jessica Rose Clark, where I think Jessica Rose Clark put on a beating. Um, Beck's never impressed me whatsoever in this fight. Being at 125, Ashley Evans Smith is going to be the bigger girl. I'm going to side with Ashley Evans Smith in this fight. I think she takes it by decision. How about you, Gib?
I mean, they're both coming off of losses, so they obviously really do need this one. The step up in competition, especially for Beck Rawlings, it's hard to lose a fight. I mean, especially when it's like Tisha Torres or Paige Van Zandt, I guess. I thought she wasn't doing too bad in the Tisha Torres fight, because at least she made it to the 3rd round, as opposed to the Paige Van Zandt where she got knocked out. So I'm hoping that a lot of the experience that she's had previous might come in handy and be able to be put forward into the Ashley Evans Smith fight, possibly iron out a few flaws that were in her game before. Obviously, Ashley Evans Smith coming off of the Samurai's armbar. She's going to be looking out for those submissions, but again, she's a wrestler, so you know that she's going to be able to keep her hips away. I want Beck Rawlings to win this one. Maybe prove that she can stay in the division on just a little bit longer. She's got to go on a crazy win streak just to even talk about a shot. But I mean, hey, miracles can happen. See what happens. But I think Beck is a pretty tough fighter, and she takes a lot of what she's given, and she does tend to stumble forward a few times, but she has a lot of hope in some of her punches, and she follows that up with when she first kind of came on the scene in Invicta, she was doing really well. Obviously, now it's a bit different. Now she's up against Ashley Evans Smith, still tough competition, so we'll have to see what happens. But I hope Beck Rawlings wins this one.
Yeah, I can see her winning the fight too. I wouldn't doubt it, but I just don't see it happening this time. I think Ashley Evans Smith comes out on top here. But yeah, let's go to our next fight here. We got Evan Dunham taking on Olivier Aubin-Mercier, OAM.
Yeah.
The Quebec kid. So OAM, man, coming off that win off Tony Martin. Like, he just puts on a grappling clinic on you, and like his striking's still not completely there, but it's getting there, and work at TriStar and everything, he's becoming like a more technical striker. Also, like the fact that like I think he's a black belt in judo, and like
Oliver Mercier, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a black belt in judo. Yes.
Yeah.
And like his takedowns are ridiculous once he gets that body lock on you. Tough fight to call. I think personally, I think the ground advantage is going to go to OAM, but Evan Dunham's no slouch. He just drew against Benil Dariush at 216, I believe it was, and Evan Dunham's no joke, man. He's got that grit. He's got decent stand up, and he's got crazy good jiu-jitsu. This gonna be a good fight, man. A gritty fight. Hard to pick a winner, but I think I'm gonna go with OAM here.
Yeah.
Especially at plus odds. He's at plus 120 right now. I would take the shot. I would advise taking the shot on him. That was one guy I was thinking about taking the shot on. But yeah, I think we got that might be a nice underdog pick. How about you, Gib? What do you think?
Oh, it's a tough one. Obviously they put in Evan Dunham from the experience that he has over OAM, and obviously a more veteran fighter might be able to to contend with his constant grappling. Evan Dunham is a bit of a grappler himself, mostly a decision guy. So he's someone who might be able to go through and maybe expose some holes that we haven't seen in Avi Mercer's game plan. And a lot of his opponents approach him wrong. I feel like a lot of times they're on to something, but his grappling is super scary. I mean, that inverted Kimura he got was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. He goes to those judo tosses to really work for him when he gets people to the fence. He seems to really order people around. Super strong, just based on physique. He can pretty much walk guys down, go for takedowns whenever he wants at will. Good at changing levels. Again, he's really good at regaining balance, but Dunham's going to be a tough fight for him. Again, he's picked up a few submissions in his heyday as well. He's a southpaw, so that might be a little different because Mercier is also a southpaw, and he favors a left kick. So with the southpaw styles, it's gonna be a little different. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see this one. I think Oliver Mercier wins it though.
Yeah, I agree, man.
He's not a great one as of now, and I don't think he's gonna let Evan Dunham ruin that.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Next up we got Joe Lozon take on Chris Grits Grutzmacher. Let you take this one, Gib.
This is a quick one. I like Joe. Joe's been there for so long. Such a good fighter, and he still gives people challenges to this day. I saw Stevie Ray's fight with him, and I thought it took a lot out of him just to be on the ground with Joe Lozon. Obviously, the Clay Guida knockout he's coming off of isn't the greatest. I think he's had a few months to sleep it off. So I think he's ready to get back in there. Chris Grutzmacher really needs this win, especially now, especially off of someone like Joe Lozon. He hasn't been doing very well in the Chase Skelly fight or Davey Ramos, getting choked out in both. I watched a few of his fights, even when he was on The Ultimate Fighter during that during that Conor McGregor season. Again, he didn't look very well against Artem Lobov. And Artem Lobov, believe it or not, I think is a kind of tough fighter, and guys have to kind of approach him differently. But a lot of the higher up guys don't really get brought into a lot of the stuff that he brings in the ring, and he was able to knock out Chris Grits just by lulling him into that brawl style. And Joe Lozon is a brawler. So is Grits, but I think Joe Lozon is a little bit more educated, and I think he's going to show that both on the ground and on the stand-up.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with actually everything you say. Only thing that concerns me is Joe Lozon's gas tank and his declining chin. But his cardio is horrible. It definitely, he's always had that cardio issue, but he's never been able to patch that up. And now his chin's been going a little bit longer. We saw in the Clay Guida fight, he got knocked out. And his chin's declining, man. He's been in some wars. And then we got Grutzmacher on the other hand, that's just like not a top level fighter, I would say. And Joe Lozon definitely has a capability of submitting him. But this is a tough fight to call. I'm gonna go with Joe Lozon to win actually on points. I think Lozon does enough to get the job done over 3. I think it's not one of the most entertaining fights of the night, but Joe Lozon gets the job done. Next up, we got Ray, the Taz Mexican Devil Borg, against Brandon, the Assassin Baby Moreno. And I'm all over Ray Borg. I got 5. Yeah.
All right.
I got 5 units on Ray Borg at -255 to win 1.96 units. Max bet. And Borg's just man, he's something else. In the DJ fight, it was hard to see. I think the guy's super young still. especially in that DJ fight. I think DJ's just like a little bit levels above him. I'm not sure he was ready for that fight at that exact time, but it made sense. He was a viable contender. His fights against guys like UCA Formiga, Louis Smoka, Scoggins.
Mm,
That Scoggins fight was like the one that like scares me a little bit, but I don't think Brandon Moreno has that type of striking, so I'm not worried too much about that. But like other guys, he's fight like Chris Kalidas and just he's a monster. His movement in and out is something to behold. It's really nice. I like the way he moves in and out of range. His takedowns are fucking aggressive, and he's a very good scrambler.
mm,
I think he works a lot on his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu, and I think that's where Brandon Moreno lies a lot on his game. I think Ray Border can beat the fuck out of him on the feet. Brandon Moreno doesn't have that good of stand-up, and Moreno's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, and I think Borg's the better jiu-jitsu wrestler or scrambler, whatever you may say. He's a
mm.
better grappler overall. So I think Ray Borg controls Brandon Moreno over 3 rounds and gets the job done. How about you, Gab?
Really? Uh, I don't agree with the very end, only because I think they're both fantastic grapplers. They both have one knockout, and I mean, maybe Moreno has a few more submissions, but I definitely think Ray Borg is of a high quality. I mean, hey, he got to fight Demetrius Johnson. Moreno didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, that wouldn't have happened if it was the other way around. The Dustin Ortiz fight really does win Borg over for me because Dustin Ortiz is not an easy fight. And Ray Borg was able to drop down and during certain times of the fight, get right back up in Dustin Ortiz's face and keep feeding punches, throw something. And those are such quick movements. And the fact that a guy like Demetrius Johnson was able to kind of kite that and constantly move back, constantly bring him in and kind of control the pace of Ray Borg, it just shows. And Brandon Moreno, on the other hand, he improvises a lot. He's not actually much of a striker. He only really has one knockout to his name. The Sergio Pettis fight with his hands down didn't exactly win me over either. I thought he got a little freakish in that fight. He pulled off. I felt like he was running out of moves. If you watched it, he was throwing a lot of kicks, a lot of punches. They were just kind of constantly engaging each other's distance. Phone booth fighting, kind of out toughing each other, then creating distance again. If you give Moreno too much time, he'll come up with something, and he's pretty sneaky as well. He was able to wrap up Dustin Ortiz after being beaten up the entire time and get a rear naked choke off of him. Obviously, Ray Borg, he switches stances. He switches stances every now and then. He's really good at getting superior positions, clinching on the fence. Great groundwork. Like I said, extremely fast off the pop-up, or if you leave him alone on the ground for too long, he's right back up with you standing. He's always pushing the action. But Brandon Moreno, he's a rough fight. He fights weird. Sometimes his hands are up, sometimes his hands are down. In the Dustin Ortiz fight, those hands are up, and it got him the win. But during the Pettis fight, they were down, and I don't feel like he did very well. So I'm going for Ray Borg on that one, because if he thinks that he can do that, Borg is definitely going to teach you a lesson. And I think he wants to get right back into title contention. So this is his setup, and it's a rough fight for him, but I think Ray Borg does take it. But I think the submission is going to be a little close, and I do think that if it does end, it might be due to striking. Like someone's getting knocked out. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I can see Borg being smart and simply keeping this on the feet, where I think he has a great advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, simply keeping this one on the feet, striking very well, showcases striking. Do that because Moreno has a funky style of putting, like you said, putting his hands down, tries to lull guys to like his fight style, and it just doesn't work. You saw with Sergio Pettis. It's not that effective.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, let's move on to our next fight. We got Karolina Kowalkiewicz take on Felice Little Bulldog Herrig. I'm all over Felice Herrig. I didn't bet her or
Yeah?
anything. I like Felice
Wow.
Herrig in
Normally
this
you
fight.
don't pick her in fights, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
I think if she can establish but it's hard. If Carolina stuffs the takedown, this is fucking Carolina all day. She's gonna look like a minus 400 on the feet against
Yeah.
Felice Herrig. She's gonna look good. But Carolina has had trouble before with the takedown defense and everything. I think if Felice Herrig makes this an ugly fight, which I think she will, and just press Carolina up against the cage, work for takedowns, make it some dirty boxing and whatnot, just stuff that Carolina's not going to like. I think she can come away with a victory if she can do that for at least 2 of the rounds there. I think the first round is going to be like a little weird with them feeling each other out. So it'd be hard to judge, but then you got round 2. And I think Felice Herrig is going to score a takedown, hopefully, and show her why she can be one of the top girls in the strawweight division. It'd be great to see her in the top 5. So she's on quite a win streak, and I think it'd be nice to see her. Carolina, on the other hand, coming off that win off Jodie Escobar, not the most impressive because it is Jodie Escobar, but she did great in that fight. And then before that, she got her back taken by Claudia Gadelha, choked out, lost to Joanna, and then she had that fight against Rose, the split decision, I believe. Yeah, she wins a lot of she wins a lot of fights like by the skin of her teeth. You know what I mean? Like not the most dominating and like a Joanna was in the back of the day, or even now. I think Joanna is still dominating, but just like one-sided with the Muay Thai striking and completely like shuts down the opponent there. But she does rather well. I do side with Felice Herrig here, where she's gonna have the advantage with the grappling and whatnot. And I think if she works on the inside and gets takedowns and works in the clinch, she can get the job done here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Felice Herrig fan, but I don't want to be too biased here because, again, Carolina is extremely impressive. The Rose Namajunas fight, super good to watch. The kickboxing back and forth is ridiculous. Rose uses a bit of a in and out movement, like a bit of a karate bounce, and I think that worked a lot. And every now and then you do see fighters who kind of expose Kowalkiewicz, and girls like Claudia Gadelha and Joanna obviously have. But you could see even in the fights that are difficult for her, if you match those strikes that she throws out, she's going to tire herself out just trying to outdo you, when your strikes might not exactly have the same stamina to them as she puts on them. But in the end of the round, she's going to start to fade, or she's actually very open for early takedowns. As Claudia Gadelha showed, she got that rear naked choke on her in the first round too. And obviously she had to she had to really break her back. I thought she had to really break her back to get it. She obviously pushed through, but she's faced some difficulty in ground game, and if she's increased that and brought it into her game, then maybe she'll change it. But Felice Herrig always seems to bring that, and she's very scrappy. That's why they name her the Bulldog. She's great. She's got great grappling qualities. Nice hip tosses. She's really good at mixing together a little bit of everything. And it's fighters like that who go up against maybe the higher striker people, and they do a lot better because they can kind of mix in their stuff, and all of a sudden they're getting in all these takedowns that they never thought they could get, and they can take advantage of that. I know when Felice starts to really work her opponent, like Justine Kish, Alexa Grasso, they start to kind of slow their pace down. And a slow pace from Carolina, I don't think is that good in this fight, and it'll just open up more takedowns for Felice. So it's still going to be a tough fight because Felice has to get those takedowns in early to really look deadly in order to continue with the fight, so she doesn't get hit too much and keep the takedowns constant. But good luck against Carolina. It's a tough fight. I got Felice anyway. Still a big fan, so we'll see what happens. She's won 4 of her last 5. Carolina needs to win this one. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's a pretty big fight, actually. If you think about it, for the standings in the division, both pretty big for the rankings.
If Carolina wins this, she increases her win streak, and again, Felice would be 5, so she's definitely getting a title shot.
Yeah, exactly. She'd be in contention at least. She'd be like number 4 or 5 in the world. So
yeah,
she'd definitely
Carolina
be
would need at least another fight, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd think so. I'd think so at least. Next up, we move on to the main card. We got my boy Raging Ally Quinta taking on Paul Darius Dragon Felder. And this is a fucking fight, guys.
Oh, man. This is its own pay-per-view. Its own main event.
This is a big fight. Raging Al, one of my favorite fighters. He's just got crisp boxing, great wrestling. We saw what he did to Diego Sanchez, like just such accurate punching. And then before that, I know a lot of people are thinking Jorge Masvidal beat him. I agree with you guys. Jorge Masvidal probably beat him in that fight. And then Joe Lozon, Ross Pearson, Rodrigo Dem, and then you already know what happened at Mitch Clark fight. Al is fucking again coming off a pretty long layoff too. I'm pretty sure. Like his last fight was April of 2016, I believe.
Was that the Brazil card?
No, it was
was that the one where he got booed?
Swanson versus Lobov.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where he got booed was
that was
Fox card. I forgot.
Oh, that's right. I felt so bad for him, man.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I do like him in this fight though. Paul Felder is dangerous where he goes, wherever he strikes, man. The guy's he's got some crisp Muay Thai, and he's got those dangerous elbows too. If he lands on you, he's gonna hurt you. You saw against Stevie Ray, put him to sleep. Against Charles Oliveira, he put a beating on him. He actually tapped the strikes in that fight, Oliveira. This is gonna be a gritty fight, man. I think the winner is gonna come out with like whoever is exchanging more in the pocket, like getting the best of the other person in the pocket. And I think this whole fight's going to be played more in the pocket than on the outside or on the ground or anything. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Raging Al.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to take Raging Al here, guys. Not a confident pick, but I do think he can pull off a victory here. How about you, Gib?
Oh, man. I like this fight already. You know, the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder. This guy is like a Swiss Army knife. You know, he's got back kicks, spin kicks. He does the backhand. Can hit multiple targets with one kick. Like he can hit different spots with that. Keeps combos fluid even after missing. Which again, like you see it every now and then in guys who know what they're doing. But it has to be on that day, and a lot of guys, especially who get in the ring and kind of have to look around at the lights, they screw up every now and then. And these guys are real professionals. Does not give any of his opponents space. He smells blood. He likes to throw ploy punches, switch to fast kicks, get big head kicks. And I think that's what everyone wants to see. And you're going to see it in this fight. This isn't going to be easy as Alaquinta. I think he deserves a standing ovation off of that fight that he got booed. I felt bad again. He's got very heavy hands. I think he has better hands than Paul Felder, actually. The guy's landed some crazy hooks, and he can sneak in body shots really bad with that right hand. He strikes from different angles. Sometimes he'll jump to the left and then right side, kind of keep moving left and right, and then all of a sudden move in a rogue direction that you can't even see. He gets in and gets out without taking too much damage. And even if he did, chances are the first two punches he came in with were rough, and they kind of knocked his opponent off balance. It's weird. They both have one submission apiece. So I think we know that it's not going to end by submission. Definitely going to be a KO for this one. So it's going to be interesting. I got Paul Felder, though. Even though I think Alaquinta has better hands, I just think Paul Felder, once this guy gets one more win, the lightweight division is going to be open to him. And I think he's going to take either some big name out, or they're going to give him a close shot at something.
I hope they give him Mirbek Tysonov. That'd be a nasty fight. Paul Felder versus Mirbek Tysonov.
Or even Alaquinta, man. Hey, if either one wins, I mean, that's a good fight.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is a fight I'm very much looking forward to is Michael Maverick Chiesa taking on Anthony Showtime Pettis. I'm all over my boy Michael Chiesa. All over him. I got 5 units on him at plus 108 to win 5.37 units. Sniped that line literally when he was a favorite already. He was a favorite on many websites, and I sniped that line on William Hill. Late at night, I got it with. I think that was the only site he was an underdog on, actually. Still, so I was lucky to get him at plus 108. This fight comes down to if he can establish a takedown or not. I think he can. I think he gets the takedown on Anthony Pettis, and I think he does work with some ground and pound, and eventually finds a rear naked chokehold. He's dangerous on the floor. His back takes are disgusting. He didn't get submitted by Kevin Lee, even though Yamasaki said he did. He did not tap. So to me, that should be a no contest. But I was happy to get the win. I bet on Kevin Lee in that fight. Anthony Pettis on the other, he's been on the decline. On the other hand, man.
Yeah.
Lost to Dustin Poirier, beat Jim Miller, lost to Holloway, lost to beat Charles Oliveira, lost to Barboza, lost to Alvarez. His last win was Anthony Pettis versus Gilbert Melendez at UFC 181 when he got that chokehold. I'm pretty sure
that was his last finish.
That was his last win. His last
Gilbert Melendez
at 150. Oh no, he got Jim Miller at 155.
Yeah. You got him a year ago.
But I'm talking about I was talking about 155, and before that Jim Miller fight, it's quite a stretch, man. Gilbert Melendez was his last one. So Anthony Pettis needs to show up again, but I don't know. I know I like Michael Chiesa in this fight. I think he has the range, the size advantage, the strength to take down Anthony Pettis and just show why he's a better grappler and better fighter all around. I think he can strike with him for a little bit, but once he feels a little bit of pressure, he'll take down Pettis and do his work from the bottom, or do his work on top. I mean, So I got Michael Chiesa 5 units at plus 108 to win 5.37 units. And let's go, man. Pumped for that. How about you, Gib?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure Michael Chiesa is fired up after his fight with Kevin Lee, and he's got a chance to take out a former lightweight champion. So, Chiesa likes to employ his mount, lots of good ground and pound, great takedowns, like we've already said. He's a really, really good at taking people's back. I watch him a lot just because of that. Extremely crazy. He's always good at kind of, and if he's not getting the back, he's moving people to where he wants them to be in order for the next takedown, next setup. He's thinking ahead. Obviously, a fighter like Kevin Lee, I thought had an advantage over him just because of the strength. And Anthony Pettis, I don't think has that same amount of strength. So he's going to be relying a lot on the striking, a lot on the jump kicks, a lot on the Taekwondo style. And I think that's great. Don't get me wrong. He's shown it off previously before, and it does keep fighters back. And people know what he likes to go for, those jump kicks and the Showtime kick. He hasn't really been able to hit that crazy kick or any big knockout like that again. But I mean, he always does have that trick in the back of his wrist. So, if like I said, I think Michael Chiesa will take him just because of the good groundwork and how Anthony Pettis hasn't been doing very well, even against Dustin Poirier. He's still fighting top competition, so I think this is still a pretty tight fight. It's just Michael Chiesa, I think, is a little more dangerous, and I think he'll press the action a lot. So much so that Anthony Pettis might have to change around his strikes to grappling, and when it comes down to that, Chiesa is going to control you. He's a big guy, and he likes to keep pushing forward. I heard during the embedded series that Anthony Pettis is having a great camp this time, not as plagued with injuries as the other ones. So maybe this could be the line to take Anthony. But I think Michael Chiesa wins it. I actually think that he'll take him by submission too in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think he submits him. Next up is probably fight of the night, in my opinion. Renato Moicano versus Kelvin Kattar. You want to take that one, Gib?
Sure. Renato's a real patient fighter. Likes to chop those low kicks early. Constant movement. Likes to strike at range. Likes stance switch and takedowns. Very committed to groundwork. Smothers fighters. He's problems. There's a lot of problems, and he has a little trouble with a few fighters who get loose and a little flowy and take things straight forward to him. But I mean, the guy has a variety of different side kicks and counter single strikes that he can do. If you're lazy with double jabs or any sort of basic combination, I mean, Renato has something for you, and it's gonna hurt. Kattar, on the other hand, super good fight IQ. I think he's got a lot of good decisions over high level opponents. Calvin Kattar's he's showing his worth in the UFC. He's won his first two. I thought the Andre Fili fight was real good, especially the fact that Andre Fili is doing really good now against Dennis Bermudez. Even knocking out Shane Burgos, and Shane Burgos is a real good karate guy who I kind of think has that same fierce style that Renato seems to have a little bit. Not exactly the same, obviously, but very similar. I think Calvin Kattar's jiu-jitsu is pretty high as well. I mean, so is Renato's. It's a down the line fight, but I think I got Calvin Kattar. I think he's a bit of a smarter fighter, and whether it's a decision or he gets the knockout, he's dangerous because he knows how to last. He has a really good last ability in fights and can present you with problems that it's going to tire you out and it's going to bring you to those cards that nobody likes to be in. But Kattar has a real good insurance plan and making sure that when he gets there, he's super confident, he's standing tall, and he doesn't have to, worry about the decision. He knows that it's probably going to go his way. I got Qatar on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also have Qatar. Or is it Cater? I think it's Calvin Cater.
Cater,
yeah, I think his name's Cater. But I think he has a
Boston
wrestling
finisher.
I think he has a wrestling advantage here as well, where he can score a couple late takedowns like he did in that Andre Feely fight in the rounds to secure the rounds. The guy knocked out Shane Burgos. That's no easy task. Shane Burgos is high quality boxer, especially in the pocket and at range. Very dangerous boxer. Not so. He's kind of. I guess he comes from that karate camp, so you can say a little bit. I guess he's karate. But he's more of like a straight up boxer, man. This guy's like in the pocket, slipping punches, rolling with them, and everything. And then you got Cater finished him, and then took Andre Feely to decision in his first fight. Didn't even look like he had UFC jitters at all. Just
no.
Fucking.
And that's someone who you would have it, because Andre Feely going in was pretty high level and at alpha male.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had Andre Feely in that fight actually on a parlay, I believe, and he burned my ass, Calvin Cater. He showed me, definitely don't bet against him in times like that. Short notice fight too, and he finished, and he got the decision. So I thought he looked rather good in that fight. Hanato Moicano, on the other hand, you saw what he did against Jeremy Stevens. His last fight was against Brian Ortega, where he was pretty much winning the fight, and then he got caught in a guillotine in the third round there, where off a takedown that he initiated. Other than that, he's looked good. He's beat that Nimyaki guy and Turgov. He's looked good. But,
that was a great fight.
Yeah. Tough fight to call, but like I said, I got Cater in this one. I think he does enough with the wrestling and gets late takedowns and gets the job done here. I think this is going to be fight of the night. I think it's going to be a fucking war. A very technical war, but I think it's going to be a war. And yeah, I got Calvin Cater, man. Next up, one of our first two the co-main event of the night, we got Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose, the champion, taking on Joanna Jędrzejczyk, number one contender. You want a gangster, you want a violence, you want a champion. You already know what it is. I got 3 units on Joanna. Looking to add a fourth. I got her at minus 130 to win 2.3. I saw her at minus 112 today. Waiting for tomorrow, see if she hits minus 110, and then I'll take that, throw that other unit on her for the fourth unit in that fight. I think this is a fight that she can win. A lot of people are doubting her in this fight, especially because of the first fight, how it went, where she got knocked out. I guess you guys think her chin's gone or something. I think her chin's not gone completely yet. So I'm putting money on this girl. I think this girl is very dangerous. I think she's the most technical and cerebral fighter in the strawweight division. I think she's going to be able to, once she gets around and she knows she won a round in her, it's going to be hard for Rose to come back. She's going to start piling up the strikes and everything. And I think she maintains distance and circles her opponent, much like she did against Jessica Andrade, where she got a fantastic win against Jessica Andrade, just demolishing her over 5 rounds, and she knew of Jessica Andrade's power. Rose is maybe more accurate puncher, but not as powerful, I would say. I think Jessica Andrade has a more power. And I'd go with like in that fight. In this I have Joanna just like circling her around, making sure maintaining distance with her kicks and whatnot, and just being the more active fighter over 5 rounds. And I think she wins the decision here. So I got her 3 units minus 130 to win 2.3 units, and looking to add a 4th unit on her actually. So yeah, looking forward to that. How would you give?
Well, I talked earlier about Rose's stepping. It's very karate-like. She likes to do that bounce. I think it does work against a lot of Muay Thai and a lot of high-level kickboxing. Joanna's is a bit different. She tends to stay away from at least too many leg kicks early. She'll definitely throw them out there if she has it dead to rights, but she likes to focus more on the hands and really only bring the leg kicks into play if she needs them. And even in the fight that she lost against Rose, she was leg kicking early. Like she normally kind of brings it out later, and I think because of that, Rose started to kick up the pace. And then once a few high kicks missed for Joanna, big high head kicks, like I want to end the fight head kick. Rose wasn't relenting, and she was stepping back to avoid the kick, but right back in and giving the pressure. If people think that that's kryptonite, I mean, it could be, especially for that one time. But I mean, this is a different fight. This is a refueled, changed, and different Joanna. So
this is Joanna that wasn't on. She was on a. I know you guys are saying, "Oh, she's blaming the weight cut and everything." This girl was on a. She had to cut 14 pounds or 16 pounds in 14 hours. In 14 hours, how do you lose 14 pounds in 14 hours? That's fucked.
I believe the story is that she was fainting, and it's clear that you can see. She's not all there, really. Like she's kind of running on the fumes. And if that's the case, and a lot of people want to, obviously no fighter is healthy when they get into that ring. I'm sure someone has a broken something or exhaustion or any sort of deficiency. But at the end of the day, you got to go in, you got to fight. And Rose did it that day, but Joanna she wants to take it back. She doesn't want to take the belt back. She wants to rip it back from her hands, and she's gonna do that. She's obviously going off on striking. I think she's gonna try to start her early if it comes into play for her. And when Joanna decides to kick up the punches and throw flurries, I mean, oh man, it's sad seeing some fights. You see girls get put on the fence and just get outworked, outkicked, out elbowed, out kneed, and they can't even make it past second, third rounds. Karolina Kowalkiewicz had quite a rough time. I mean, she shook Joanna a few times, but not enough. Joanna's still a beast. I don't know why people are saying otherwise. She's still a boogie woman, and she's coming back.
Yeah, I think so, man. She's the boogie woman.
I think Rose had the flashlight out for a minute and maybe put some light in the room, but I mean, that flashlight energy is running out, and Boogie Woman's back, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, let's get it. All right, main event time. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Eagle, Max Blessed Holloway, moving up 6 days before the fight to 155, taking the injured Tony Ferguson spot. Just a tragedy, Tony Ferguson getting injured 6 days before. Actually, a little bit more than 6 days before. I think it was 8. He got injured on a Friday, I believe. And just the most, one of the dumbest injuries.
Freak accident, man.
Freak accident, man. It turns around and says hi to somebody and trips and falls and tears his LCL. Just completely freak accident. But then Max Bless Holloway stepping up now, and this is all if Max can establish the forward movement and the takedown defense early. If he can do that early, he has an okay chance at maybe getting a knockout or something like that. We know Khabib isn't one of the best on the feet, and Max is he might be better than Tony Ferguson on the feet. But Khabib's right when he was saying he works to get people tired. Max works. That's when he does his best work. He gets you tired, and then he fucking finishes you. That's what
Jose Aldo said. That's what Jose Aldo said. He said that all he would do is avoid me until it came down to last second timing, and then he would start going to bait him in, So, and a lot of times, Jose Aldo said that Max would pretend that he would get hit more than, or he would get hurt more than he was, in order for Aldo to come in and trade more with him.
Yeah, see, I like a fighter like that, and I'm a big Max Holloway fan. But so I played the under 3.5 rounds here, 2.56 units to win 2 units, under 3.5 rounds at minus 128. I think it has a chance of being finished. So if Max doesn't start him early with that knockout, I think Khabib really imposes his will over the first round, even like the first round or two, and works towards a submission or a TKO in the first round or two. So I'm going with the under 3.5 rounds here, the last bet of the night, and I like it. I think it has a definite chance of hitting. So I'm pretty confident in that one as well. So and I got Khabib actually winning the fight. I think he wins just off domination. Third round TKO, second round TKO, something like that. And yeah.
I mean, first thing, I thought that the replacement was real good. They got Max Holloway. Who else would you want? Obviously, they made the call to Brian Ortega. I think that fight would have been a lot more interesting, just based off of the grappling. I think it would have been a little unusual for Khabib, seeing as Brian's a little newer. But Max Holloway, I mean, he's always down to bang, always down to throw bombs. And he does that. He employs people to stand in the pocket with him and throw and throw punches right in front, phone booth it and see what happens. And Max actually is successful in a lot of those situations. He does take quite a bit of damage, and he does have some pretty good jiu-jitsu when he does get to the ground. But Khabib has shown that a lot of people's jiu-jitsu level doesn't matter when he gets you to the ground, because a lot of what Khabib does is he constantly throws punches at you, constantly mixing body shots, getting half guards, getting side mount, and just raining punches down, and constantly changing positions, but always being at the side of you. His last fight with Barao did not go very well for Barao. For someone who I thought had real good superior striking, I think on the level of Max Holloway, I think Barao has great striking, and he wasn't able to do it. Also, I think the weight difference that is going to be looked at might change the fight as well. Max Holloway's a little taller. The legs are out there a little bit more, so Khabib can kind of go for it. I'm glad that I think it's still going to present a big problem for Khabib, because someone's going to be throwing lots of kicks and also has a lot of range. But we'll see how fast he gets used to that. And I think that these changes, when you're preparing for one person and you get somebody else, could end up doing you in. And maybe Max Holloway isn't the greatest person for Khabib to fight on Saturday. So I actually I'm in there for Max Holloway. I think he brings a bit of unusuality to this fight, and if he does ploy him into a brawl, he can get lucky and hit Max with something big, hit Khabib with something big, and follow up. He's decent on the ground, and we'll see if he can stop those takedowns. I mean, I think he'll be pretty quick in those first few rounds. We'll see what happens as it's a 5. So, I think Max is ready. He's fought a lot of tough competition in his weight classes. So.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm just looking at if fucking Kobe Covington saying, I guess cocaine's a hell of a drug. Oh, he threw it right through the glass, man. Connor's fucked.
What do you think about the low bob footage of him and Khabib?
I didn't think
Khabib would have won 2 fights.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it, but fucking what happened today was something surreal. That was crazy.
Oh, just him free, just him just throwing shit and freaking out.
Yeah, that's just fucked.
Hey man, you punch somebody's crew, and someone's gonna go over there and throw
That's fucked.
some shit around. But I don't know. I think it made him look a little worse than he should. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not even fighting.
Yep. But that's how the cookies crumble. So UFC 223 bets, breakdowns, predictions, guys. Click like below. Please be boys and click the like below there. Spread the word. Retweet this on Twitter. Follow me at Twitter at it's the Sabash, at Dave Gibbs or Dave underscore Gibbs or some shit. Isn't
Yeah,
your thing?
GI double B.
Yeah. And yeah, let's fucking get it this weekend,
All right.
guys. UFC
Catch you then, everyone.
223. Everyone, have a good one. God bless.
How's it
Take
going,
care.
guys?